Hello and good morning. It's the 4th of May and it's nice and early. Well, somewhat early anyway. I'm back on track now that we're outside of birthday week. And yesterday, the wife went to a funeral. Figured she'd probably be back mid-afternoon or so, but I used the opportunity to sneak in a half day off myself and do another half dose of shrooms and just chill. Ended up watching the last Jedi, the Return of the Jedi. I watched the Return of the Jedi, which had some powerful themes in it. If anyone watching this if you haven't seen Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, there's some powerful themes in it. Particularly the notion of the son sort of overcoming the father, but not overcoming the father and destroying the father. I think that there's an archetypal story being told there where Luke becomes more powerful than Vader, but he refuses to like strike him down, like to cast him down, to destroy him. Which shows that, like, if you're looking at it in terms of an archetypal story, I suppose you could say that it shows the son growing to become more intelligent, mature, and accomplished than the father, but not ridiculing the father for not having achieved better than what the son eventually came to achieve. And it is the way of the world that, at least I believe anyway, that we should aim for our children to be better than we are. We owe it to the world for that to be the case, and we owe it to ourselves for that to be the case. And we owe it to our children. I don't have kids yet, I'm working on it. But my intention is that my kids will do better than I did. And then the Emperor in that situation, in my mind, is the temptation to be hateful towards your parents because of their mistakes and because of their flaws. And Luke overcomes that, and as a result the father takes the flaws with him and destroys them by essentially by Luke's forgiveness of him for his flaws. The father is able to be redeemed in a way. And if you look at that again in terms of an archetypal story, you have the son or the child who grows to become more strong and powerful than the father, which is, natural, as it should be. And the son forgives the father of the flaws, and the father is able to be redeemed by that forgiveness, and destroy the thing. Now, I don't think New Disney paid any attention to the archetypal stories in Star Wars. I don't think they gave two hot shits about it, and I think that's why their stories are so bad. It's because they don't make any sense. Not the least for the part that Rey she never develops as a character. She starts out really good and she ends really good, and there's no really good character arc there. The same goes for the Finn character and the Poe Dameron character. Like, they were all just who they were at the beginning. That's who they were at the end. And what that shows is bad writing. It's bad writing. People who don't know how to write stories that resonate. And the stories that resonate with us are still the stories that tell the archetypal stories. So anyway, highly recommended. It's cheap. It's still cheap looking, and it's still kind of cheesy. And there's a lot of stuff that George Lucas added that I noticed when I was on shrooms that was very cringeworthy. Like the scene at Jabba's palace where the CGI aliens come in and start singing was utterly unnecessary and felt like it was shoehorned in to kind of spend some money and make it a little more flashy, and it was awful. Like it was awful. I think if they'd have if Lucas had kept Return of the Jedi remastered, but not with all the additional crap that they added in, the CGI stuff, except maybe the end with Anakin, the changing it to the Hayden Christensen character rather than the old man, it's kind of because when he died and became Vader, I guess you could say that that was who he was. But even that could have been taken out and left alone. And then then I watched Green Zone, a Matt Damon movie about Iraq and weapons of mass destruction, which was all right. And then after that, it was Green Zone, and then shit. Arrival. Another excellent movie. Like I said, yesterday was a good day to fuck off. Arrival was unexpectedly good. I had seen a review about it, about how it was really slow paced but intense, and tried to sort of deal with a little more of the reality of an alien encounter. I mean, obviously, reality is a loose term here. But they did a really good job of depicting it all, and the creature designs I thought were excellent, and the narrative of the story was excellent. It was tight, it was well paced, it was a slow burn, and it actually felt it felt kind of Christopher Nolan-y in some ways, like good Christopher Nolan in some ways, even though I'm sure that wasn't who directed it. But yeah, it was good. It was a nice way to finish up the evening, and then went to bed early because I was fucking wrecked by that point. The weekend, and then that second batch of mushrooms. So I didn't learn anything. I didn't spend any time trying to learn anything. I tried to do some stretches for about 5 minutes and was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna lay on the couch and watch some shit. The body's still hurting, but it's not hurting as bad as it was, and I find that when I do my stretches and my exercises, that doesn't hurt as much. So I need to be a little more diligent about that in the mornings, and as a result, I've set aside time in the mornings now, while I'm waiting for my other book to come back from my friend, who's proofing it. I'm going to use that time to do those stretches and exercises. One of the things that came up yesterday was how old I had begun to feel while I was under the effects of the shrooms. I noticed that I was feeling not old like old, 70 plus old, but older. And that's happened the last couple of times I've done shrooms by myself, as I've gotten on them and gotten into the trip experience and been watching TV or something and noticed that my values and the things that I look for in entertainment don't line up with what's mainstream in entertainment typically these days. I've dabbled in it when I was doing certain things with gaming, and when I was smoking a lot of weed, I definitely attempted, but there's so many new entertainment mediums and technology mediums that have come out, and I used to stay on top of all of that years ago when I was young. I knew computers and cell phones and iPods and how to set up TVs and audio systems and home theater and like software and stuff. I could figure it all out, whereas now, because I've had my finger off the pulse for so long, I don't have that same sense of competence, natural competence around technology. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. I think like the last thing that I'm probably going to end up getting into in any kind of way is crypto. A friend of mine understands it, and my plan is to have him sit me down and explain what I need to do and how I need to get into it. I'm not planning on making a lot of money out of it in the short term. I'm not going to become a crypto trader, but investing in it, crypto seems to me like gold. It's a thing that's not necessary, but because it stands outside of currency and outside of the markets, it has some inherent value in it. And if you get it on board and you sit on it for a while, you could essentially turn some money into more money. And I think that there's value in that as another basket to put some eggs in when you already have 5 or 6 other baskets with eggs in them. So yeah, I didn't really have much more for today. All weekend I was definitely craving marijuana, I could say that much. Well, not all weekend, but Saturday afternoon, once the mushrooms wore off, I was thinking how nice it would be to smoke up, but again, I'm worried about the relapse, and I know that 90 days hasn't occurred yet, so I'm just letting that slide. But Sunday when we went to Whole Foods, I was driving along thinking how rubbishy I felt and how nice it would be to be distracted from that feeling. And then again yesterday when I came down after watching the movies and thinking like, yeah, I could go for a joint right now. Not so much today. I don't have that same urge today. I'm well hydrated and I don't feel as burned out. So yeah, I'm not jonesing for it. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me. Ka kite.